Good morning children. Did you complete last classwork? Okay. Today let us continue with exercise 1 problems. Let's look at the question. Let us do the third problem. The angles of a quadrilateral are in the ratio 2:3:4:6. Find the measure of each of the 4 angles. You know that the sum property of a quadrilateral, sum of 4 angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. 360 degrees. So now here they have given the ratio. Ratio is given as 2:3:4:6. So this you can write it as the angles are, let us take x as the variable, 2x, 3x, 4x and 6x. So if you add all these angles, 2x plus 3x plus 4x plus 6x is equal to 360 degrees. Now let's add. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 4 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15x is equal to 360 degrees. Now x is equal to multiplication. When it is transposed, it becomes division. So you will get 360 degrees divided by 15. Now let's cancel. 5 table. 5 3s are 15. 5 7s are 35. 5 2s are 10. 3 table. 3 1s are 3 2s are 6. 1 is left. 12. 3 4s are 12. So you got the value of x as 24. So now let us write the angles. The angles are 2x, x is 24, 3x, 4x and 6x. So now let us multiply and write the answers. This is equal to 2 4s are 8, 2 2s are 4, that is 48 degrees. Then 3 4s are 12, 3 2s are 6 plus 1, 7, 72 degrees. 4 4s are 16, 4 2s are 8, 9, 96 degrees. 6 4s are 24, 6 2s are 12, 13, 14. So this is 144 degrees. The angles are 48 degrees, 72 degrees, 96 degrees and 144 degrees. Understood this? Copy in your classwork books, children. Let us do the fourth problem. The 4 angles of a quadrilateral are equal. Draw this quadrilateral in your notebook. Find each of them. That means we have to find out the angle for each of the sides. So now let us write sum of 4 angles of a quadrilateral are 360 degrees. Now here they have given the 4 angles of a quadrilateral are equal. 4 angles are equal. So let each angle be x. I am taking the variable x. So you know that 4 angles x plus x plus x plus x is equal to 360 degrees. 4x is equal to 360 degrees, which implies x is equal to multiplication. When it is transposed, it becomes division. So 4 ones are 4 nines are 36. So it is 90 degrees. You got the value of x as 90. What is x? It is nothing but the each angle. Okay. So now we have to draw the figure. So use your scale and protractor to draw this. Draw a line. Okay. First of all, we are drawing a line. Now 90 degrees. Use your protractor and mark 90 degrees. Then join the sides. This is 90. This is 90. This is 90 and this is also 90. Which shape is this? It is a square. Okay. Here if you draw this, this is having all the sides equal. Okay. So you got a square. Understood this? Write it in your class workbooks, children. Let us do the fifth problem. In a quadrilateral, the angles are x degrees, x plus 10 degrees, x plus 20 degrees, x plus 30 degrees. Find the angles. So to find out the angles, the first thing, what do you know already? The angle sum property of a quadrilateral. The sum of 4 angles of a quadrilateral is equal to 360 degrees. And here individual angles are given. So x degrees plus x plus 10 degrees plus x plus 20 degrees plus x plus 30 degrees is equal to 360 degrees. So now let us write x degrees plus 10 degrees. We are separating the degrees. Individually we are writing the degrees for each term. Now let's say x plus x 2x, 2x plus x 3x, 3x plus x 4x. So this is 4x degrees plus 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 plus 30 is 60. This is equal to 360 degrees. 4x degrees is equal to 360 minus 60 degrees. So this is 4x, which is equal to 300 degrees. Now x is equal to 300 divided by 4. 300 divided by 4. Now let's cancel. 7 ones are 4 ones are 4. 4 sevens are 28. How much is left? 2. 20. 4 table, when will you get 20? 4 5s are 20. So you got the value of x as 75 degrees. 75 degrees. So now let us write. The angles are, initially they have given x degrees, x plus 10 degrees, x plus 20 degrees, x plus 30 degrees. So substitute x value here. So this is 75. 75 plus 10. 75 plus 20. 75 plus 30 degrees. So this is nothing but 75 degrees 85 degrees, 95 degrees, and this is 105 degrees. Understood? 75 degrees, you got the angles as 75 degrees, 85 degrees, 95 degrees, and 105 degrees. Understood this? Copy in your classwork books, children. Let us do the sixth problem. The angles of a quadrilateral cannot be in the ratio 1:2:3:6. Why? Give reasons. So to find out this, let us solve in the same way how we have solved the previous problems. We know that the sum of four angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. The angles are, ratio is given, so let us write 1x, 2x, 3x, 6x. Okay, so now let us add x plus 2x plus 3x plus 6x is equal to 360 degrees. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12x is equal to 360 degrees. X is equal to 360 divided by 12. 12 threes are 36. So this is 1s are 3s are. So you got the value of x as 30 degrees. X value you got it as 30 degrees. So now let us substitute the values. The angles are, x is 30 degrees, 2x, 2 into 30, 3x, 3 into 30, 6x, 6 into 30. So this is equal to 30 degrees, 2 6 are 12, 2 3s are 6, 60 degrees, 3 3s are 9, 90 degrees, 6 3s are 18, 180 degrees. So this is a right angle, this is acute angles, these two are acute angles. 180 degrees is a straight line. The angle formed on the straight line is 180 degrees. Okay, when the fourth side is 180 degrees, it means it cannot be a closed figure. It cannot be a closed figure. That is the reason we can tell that with these ratios 1:2:3:6, you cannot form a quadrilateral. Understood? So now let us write angle of a quadrilateral, angle of a quadrilateral cannot be 180 degrees. Understood this? Copy in your classwork books, children. Okay, before we begin the exercise 2, let us learn the types of quadrilaterals. There are 6 types of quadrilaterals. The first one is trapezium, kite, parallelogram, rhombus, rectangle, and square. So now let us discuss what is a trapezium and what are its properties. Let us look at the figure. So here from the figure you can see that all 4 sides are not equal, but you can see that there is an arrow shown here. The arrow implies that these two are parallel to each other. So the property for a trapezium is one pair of opposite sides are parallel. One pair of opposite sides are parallel. For this, these two are parallel. For the second picture, you can see that these two sides are parallel. Okay. Now moving on to the second one, which is a kite. For a kite, you can see that a pair of sides are equal. these two are equal and these two are equal. Okay. For a kite, you can see that all the sides are not equal. Two sides are equal. Okay. Now, here the properties for this is one diagonal bisects the other. What is a diagonal? You remember? When a line segment is drawn from one vertex to the other opposite vertex, this is a diagonal. And here you can see that if I draw a line joining like this, here it is a diagonal drawn. And when two diagonals meet at this point, okay, at one point they meet, that is called as bisecting. One diagonal bisects the other. The next property is diagonals are perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular. What is the meaning of perpendicular? You remember in the previous chapters we have discussed. It is 90 degrees. So here you can see that the angle formed here is 90 degrees. Okay. This part. At the intersection point, when you measure the angle, it is 90 degrees. So the diagonals are perpendicular to one another. Any picture you take, see here. This picture also, if you draw the diagonals, the angles formed here will be 90 degrees. Here also, if you draw, you can see that the angles formed are 90 degrees. Okay, I am drawing rough figures. Okay, so here kite, the properties of a kite are two sides are equal to each other. Okay, next one is a parallelogram. What is it? A parallelogram. For a parallelogram, you know that parallel. Here in the name itself it is given parallelogram. So parallel. Two opposite sides will be parallel to each other. Opposite sides will be parallel to each other. The properties for a parallelogram are very important because based on the parallelogram properties only the remaining shapes are formed. So let's remember what are they. The opposite sides are equal. Opposite sides are equal. Remember this. Next, the sum of adjacent angles is equal to 180 degrees. How many degrees? 180 degrees. The opposite sides are equal, opposite angles are equal, and the adjacent angles sum is equal to 180 degrees, and the diagonals bisect each other. What is a diagonal? How do you draw? Very good. The vertex opposite you have to join, and you can see that the diagonals bisect each other. But if you measure this angle, this is not 90, so that property is not there here. Opposite sides and angles are equal. Opposite sides and angles are equal. Okay. So remember this parallelogram. The pairs of sides are parallel to each other. Then opposite sides and angles are equal. Adjacent angles sum is equal to 180 degrees. Diagonals bisect each other. Now coming to rhombus. Rhombus is looking like a kite, but it's not a kite because for a rhombus all the sides are equal. All the sides are equal. This is a rhombus. Now rhombus is going to have all the properties of the parallelogram. It satisfies the properties of a parallelogram. And in addition to this, you know that the opposite angles are equal. Diagonals are perpendicular to each other. So here if you draw a line, so when you draw a diagonal, you can see that the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. Now next let us look at a rectangle. A rectangle also satisfies all the properties of a parallelogram. And you can see that the diagonals are equal. The diagonals are equal. and each angle is 90 degrees. So here towards the end, the angles formed will be 90 degrees. For a square, it is going to fulfill all the properties of a parallelogram, rhombus and a rectangle. Okay, so here for a square, it is going to have opposite sides equal, diagonals bisect each other, opposite angles are equal, diagonals are perpendicular to each other, diagonals are equal, and each angle is 90 degrees for a square. So let us revise what we have learnt. Types of quadrilaterals. You know that there are 6 types of quadrilaterals. Trapezium. A trapezium is a figure in which one pair of opposite sides are parallel. One pair of opposite sides are parallel. What is a kite? It is a convex quadrilateral which has 4 sides. There are exactly 2 distinct consecutive pairs. 2 distinct means different. They are not same. This is one and this is the other one. 2 distinct consecutive pairs of sides of equal length. These 2 are equal and these 2 are equal. And the properties of a kite are the diagonals bisect each other. Diagonals are perpendicular to one another. Now coming to a parallelogram, you know that a quadrilateral with both pair of opposite sides parallel, this is called as a parallelogram. The properties are opposite sides and angles are equal, adjacent angles sum is equal to 180 degrees, diagonals bisect each other. These are the properties which are common for the remaining shapes. The next one is rhombus, where all the sides are equal and the diagonals are perpendicular to each other, and it is going to satisfy all the properties of the parallelogram. A rectangle is a shape which has opposite sides and angles equal, diagonals bisect each other, then diagonals are equal, each angle is 90 degrees. For a square, it is going to fulfill all the properties, that is opposite sides and angles are equal, diagonals bisect each other, the sum of adjacent angles is 180 degrees, diagonals are perpendicular to each other, diagonals are equal, each angle is 90 degrees for a square. Understood this? If you have understood this, it is very easy to solve the exercise 2 problems. Okay children, let us start exercise 2. The first question is writing whether it is true or false. If you have understood all the properties of the types of quadrilaterals, then it is easy for you. You do it as homework. Now let us do the second one, which is explain how a square is a quadrilateral, it is a parallelogram, it's a rhombus, and it's a rectangle. So here, if you are sure of the properties of a square, then you will be able to write. How can you say that a square is a quadrilateral? What is a quadrilateral? A shape, a closed figure which has 4 sides. So here you can see that the square is a closed figure with 4 sides. So it is a quadrilateral. Now let us write why it is a parallelogram. Why is it a parallelogram? Because opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides. For a square, you know that the opposite sides are parallel. What is the meaning of parallel? That means they cannot meet at any point. Now let us see how it becomes a rhombus. It becomes a rhombus as diagonals of a square. Diagonals of a square are perpendicular bisectors. Perpendicular bisectors. Okay. Now how can you say it is a rectangle? As opposite sides are equal. For a square, the opposite sides are equal. So you can say that it is a rectangle. Understood this? Copy in your class workbooks, children. Okay, let us do the third problem. In a rhombus ABCD, angle CBA is equal to 40 degrees. Find the other angles. So here you know that the sum of four angles of a quadrilateral is equal to 360 degrees since angle sum property of a quadrilateral. So here looking at the picture, you know the property of rhombus, the opposite sides are opposite angles are equal. So this angle will become 40 degrees because this is opposite to this, it becomes 40. So if we take A as x degrees, then C is going to become x degrees. Okay. So now let us substitute these values in this equation. X degrees plus B is 40 degrees plus C is x degrees and D is 40 degrees, which is equal to 360 degrees. So x plus x is 2x degrees plus 40 is 80 degrees, which is equal to 360 degrees.